Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Andy, it's the middle of November. It's Sunday evening, which means we are diving deep into the NFL slate. We had some games today, I suppose. I guess there was football played today.
If you were a good team, you most likely had a bad day. There wasn't a lot of good on good. Like, obviously right now the Cowboys and Chiefs are going at it, and the Chiefs look obviously to be winning that game. But other than that, were there two teams with winning records that went at it?
Andy, you know what the theme felt like today?
Sure.
You know how you know what the overriding theme of today was? The NFL is just getting out of the Patriots' way. Like, seriously. Literally, everybody who had a chance to distinguish themselves from the Patriots just pooped their pants.
Pants.
Yes, really.
I don't even want to, and we'll get to them. I don't even think it was like that big of a stretch, because we've talked about it for a few weeks. Like, the Buffalo DVOA defense being number one was very fraudulent, more so than we thought, I guess. That wasn't the real surprising one. Was Tennessee finally coming back to earth in the weirdest of spots. But we'll
I tipped to Patrick.
Yeah.
The secret chat play was Texans money line. I remember them saying
4-1
very clearly. He was very clear that was the secret chat play.
That was the secret.
This is not past posting. This is not past posting.
I can
Patrick
go.
Was
we
very much
this.
on that. Yeah,
you can go look at the comments from Wednesday. You can see him saying it right at the end. See, he's in charge of the chat play. We're not in the chat. We have no control over that. I can't live in that too. I'm over here. They're over there in the chat. So, good job, Patrick. Good job to anyone who had a good day. Good job, NFL, for, another week where we played all the games.
Yep.
And it's better than last year, I guess. But we'll start at the top. Is the top one seriously going to be Detroit Cleveland?
It is.
Is that the first game? That
game sucked.
So the biggest takeaway for me from that, and sneaking ahead a little to the Bears game, is that Fields and Goff are probably not going to get cleared for Thursday. It doesn't sound like the Field thing possible. It might be Andy Dalton, Tim Boyle in primetime on Thursday. Not primetime, but national television.
A standalone game on fucking Thanksgiving. It's going to be Tim Doyle and Andy Dalton.
And also, my only other takeaway from that is, like, really, like, Baker Mayfield is obviously looked up to Big Ben at some point and is emulating him in all, at least not in every which way. He's stayed out of the police blotter, at least, but he's doing this thing where it doesn't matter.
Wasn't he involved in a fight at one point or something? I don't know.
He did run from the cops. Remember that video? That shit was hilarious. Right. And he's in college. I'll give him a break, but he's doing that thing where he is clearly hurt and gutting it out, not looking great. And
are they not better off with Case Keenum at this point? Have we not learned this?
And now Landry dinged up his knee. That was the knee that had him on the IR earlier in the year. Yeah. So this team, they got the win, but boy, they had to be scoreboard watching a little there at the end when the Ravens were losing. Man, what a boon that would have been for them. But yeah, the Lions remain winless, and not much to say outside of the fact that it was a really quick game because they ran a lot, and it was Chubb back and Chubb doing what Chubb does against a bad defense. Nice run by Swift. I saw that touchdown. I actually had that game on when that happened. I'm like, oh, look, I switched to this game and something actually happened. But other than that, they had like one other drive. Detroit actually never reached the red zone. That was a 57-yard touchdown.
Incredible.
Their other field goal is a little deeper. So it's nothing that hasn't been said about Detroit before.
Andy, Tim Boyle today, he was 15 of 23 for 77 yards. 77. That was not a misstatement. 77 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The Browns did not cover. They didn't sniff a cover. It wasn't even close, actually.
It's a big number.
I can't understand how you don't cover or even get a double-digit win when you hold your opposing quarterback to 77 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, that's really, really pathetic. Nick Chubb had 130 yards in the ground today. How in the world? How in the world do you win by 3 points here? I guess, I mean, I can't complain too much because the Browns won. At least they didn't lose. Yeah. But still, this was awful by the Browns. Let's move on.
Oh, this is a fun one. I said this to producer Dan off the air a little. One of my favorite stats from the day. The San Francisco 49ers, hot off a big win, opened up with a Service Academy like 20-play, 87-yard field goal drive. Like that's the thing. There was so much ugliness in this game. This is one of those where I don't really think San Francisco was that good, but they got a lead on a bad team. Trevor didn't offer much up today, and then they ran the ball. They ran the ball 42 times in this game. I mean, it quickly turned into just, we don't believe you can score on us. We're just going to try to turn this into salting away the clock immedately. Jimmy looked bad. His numbers, yes. If you look at his stats, he actually had a good passer rating. His stat line looks great, but if you watched him, he missed some bad throws.
Yep.
He looks kind of rough out there at times. This isn't a team, even though they did just beat the Rams, the way they played today wasn't very awe-inspiring, I'd say.
The Niners and the Jaguars continue to annoy me. 2 weeks in a row, I was like, this Jaguars defense sucks. I'm just going to find ways to bet against the defense performing well. And they played up for 2 weeks in a row. And now they come home and they do this. That was awful. I don't even know what to make of this. Some of these stats. Apparently, the San Francisco's rushing game goes through Deebo Samuel now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've had some injuries. Mitchell didn't end up going with that finger, so your starting top back is like Jeff Wilson Jr. I know they've used Deebo more than probably you want to use a wide receiver, but it's been effective. Why? I guess dance with who brung you, and it is.
I mean, he got 2 targets in the passing game, but 8 touches on the ground. Brandon Ayuk sighting. Apparently, he's not dead. He had 7 catches for 85 and a touchdown today. The Jaguars offense is horrifically poor. Man, is it pathetic. I can't even hang this on Trevor Lawrence. He's not playing great. Don't get me wrong. But
they could use some skill position players.
The sequencing and the execution is just so bad. This team sucks. Nothing more to say about this. I guess congratulations, San Francisco. San Francisco, Minnesota, loser leaves town next week. That'll be fun.
That is really kind of a loser leaves town.
One of those 2 teams is making the playoffs, buddy. Put it on paper. Sure. Put it on paper.
Clawing their way back into the playoff hunt, which is a theme. Every team this week, because outside of Detroit, like everybody in the NFC was kind of in it a little bit. I think the Bears might have put things to rest with that loss today, but there was that stat. Everybody was within like 2 games of a playoff spot except Detroit, and the AFC was not too different. Indy was 5-5, got the win. The defense, we just mentioned this at the top of the show. The Buffalo defense was highly rated by some metrics. But those were based, those were not, they were semi-adjusted for opponent. But at the same time, it's hard to completely do that properly for anybody because they played well. Well, they played well against a few bad offenses, and they looked good a few times. They're missing some players. And they haven't faced the likes of John Taylor and the Central Indiana Moving Company yet. And boy, howdy. When you stack that kind of running game on top of the mistakes they made, I mean, just not only the short skipped passes, but the turnovers. I mean, they turned over the ball a few times too. It's just, well, this isn't going to go well. When the other team can run easily on you and score while doing it, not just kill time and punt, then if you're going to continue to turn the ball over, you get what you have here today.
Hey, by the way,
is
real quick,
the way he wants it.
Speak on the Jonathan Taylor note. Is he your offensive player of the year now if he doesn't win MVP? I mean, honestly, the MVP race was absolutely stupid today. It's just truly stupid. Jonathan Taylor, I think, probably locked up the clear favorite for offensive player of the year, right?
I've got an idea for next year, because I don't think we fully, like, I'm not sure we can go back and remember all of them. We need to like keep a list of like who is Twitter touting for MVP this week, because I mean, at certain points, how are we not giving this to Tannehill? Week 3, should Sam Darnold be a contender for MVP? Week 5, it has to be this running back, like
Kyler Murray for sure. It's Kyler Murray. Haven't seen him.
Kyler Murray was. Oh my God! We need to keep a list of who the media / gambling Twitter puts on the MVP pedestal week by week, because I think there'd be some pretty funny ones. But yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold people were talking about it in week 3. That's a thing, and yeah, obviously Tannehill's not getting it. Our co-favorite, Mr. Josh Allen, looked pretty bad today. I don't think he's getting it. Wentz, and this would be like we need not a thought exercise, but like blind box score guess. Wentz has 11 completions for 106 yards. How much did the Colts lose by?
Yeah, -30. Unbelievable.
They won by 26, didn't need it. And the worst part about this is the Bills now have a short week to go play New Orleans on Thursday.
Jonathan Taylor got 32 carries, 185 yards, another 3 targets, 35 touches today. Did they give it to him enough?
He only had the ball so often.
They wasted a bunch of touches on Naheem Hines and Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson had 6 touches for 12 yards. This is probably all garbage time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still unfreaking believable day from Jonathan Taylor. He was unstoppable. We talked about how the Bills' defense was wildly overrated and they were going to get their comeuppance. I didn't expect it all to happen in one game, but this was about the most pathetic defensive performance we've seen from a contender, I think, all like in recent memory, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's just Brady has a standalone game this week. That's how he gets. I mean, that's where your MVP favorite probably ends up, unless something weird happened, like happened to everybody else on Sunday. So, yeah, Buffalo now in second place.
Again, another though. Stafford was on bye this week, so he obviously moved up.
Yeah, he probably jumps up a spot. So, speaking of the AFC East, Miami and New York, I'm not going to spend any time on this. If you go look, and again, if you go look at just the box score, the stat lines, it says Joe Flacco didn't have a bad game.
I
mean, he was
okay.
He was fine. He didn't throw interceptions. He got hit a little, and I mean, he didn't have a ton to work with. It's not like they covered. It's not like they were in it.
They were.
Elijah Moore had a
lot of his 62-yard passing play was a big broken, shitty like fuck up for the Dolphins. I didn't think that was the Jets scheming something impressive. Did you?
No. I mean, it is the Dolphins. So I don't know what to make of this. I'm not
sloppy.
I mean, it was a sloppy, ugly game between teams that have like 4 or 5 wins between them.
Yeah, and Dolphins have like a 2% chance of making the playoffs. Okay, fine. Jets are done.
Yeah, they needed this. I mean, the Dolphins needed this game, and the Jets started Flacco on purpose, so they didn't deserve to win a game. Washington, Carolina.
Hey, winner.
You know what? I like Cam Newton, and it's good when good players are good, but boy, it was a bit much. Like, I got sick of that after like 5 minutes. Like, okay, like he's not the MVP.
You made it 5 minutes. You made it 5 minutes before you were sick of that.
Well, he did score a couple times. It's not like he had a bad game. In fact, both quarterbacks had pretty good games. Taylor Heineke Taylor Heineke revenge game.
Taylor Heineke
Joey
was
Sly
excellent.
revenge game.
Taylor Heineke was excellent.
Ron Rivera revenge game. And then really the weirdest quote I saw today from a coach in the post-game pressers was from Matt Rule, who said, and this was a thing we talked about. I was bound and determined saying Cam is a starter because they gave him a decent enough contract to merit that. And they have an XFL guy / was it Alliance? Where was Walker? No, he was in the Alliance. Never mind. So
he was an
AAF guy. Yeah, he was a Houston Roughneck. But I figured we'd still see a little bouncing around, perhaps, and they didn't. They stuck with him. He played well. I get sticking with him, but Rule actually said that Newton didn't have a full grasp of the 2-minute offense, and they stuck with him anyway. Which I don't know if you go to the backup quarterback for that reason alone, but Cam looked pretty bad in those 2 drives those 2 possible game-winning drives. So, I think maybe he can, lead this team to a few more wins if he gets a little more comfortable with the playbook, because he didn't look bad and he actually ran okay. He's just not going to ever have a big passing day. He doesn't have the arm for it anymore. If you give him short stuff like that, and go look at who the leading receivers were. It certainly wasn't your outside guys. It wasn't Moore. It wasn't Robbie. It was CMC. Your leading receiver was the running back, because that's what you're going to get out of Cam. And if
go look at
smart enough,
go look at the 15-yard pass Cam made to Christian McCaffrey, and look at how much of his body he puts into that pass.
All of it.
All of it. The whole fucking thing. And this is him with a fresh arm. So you imagine a couple of weeks down the road after he's taken some shots and taking some shots. He's asked to throw the ball 27 times a game, a couple times. This is going to unravel so spectacularly. Not here for this at all. They play Miami next week. Miami's a pick 'em right now. Easy bet, Miami in that spot. But we will get there.
Unraveling quickly.
Hey, by the way, Washington. We should not move on without acknowledging Washington is.
Heineke had a very good day. He played very well. Go look.
Washington is not out of the playoff mix, which is fuck to say. Their schedule is a lot easier down the stretch than it has been to this point. It's not easy, but it gets a lot easier. And Heineke's got a pulse. A lot of quarterbacks don't in the NFL right now. If this is breaking news to you, and the Washington football team is now winning games that they might make their goddamn win total, which is giving me heartburn. That's giving me heartburn just thinking about it.
A team who probably won't make their win total in the Chicago Bears.
Oh, thank God.
Played Tyler Huntley. Is that the name we're going with?
Sure. Huntley?
Sure. Yeah, this was six? Was 6. And then Lamar obviously got sick during the week, decided he was not good enough to play, went with the backup. This line moved like 8 points. Oh, man, this was rough. This was a bad one, just as far as I like this spot a lot, but obviously I liked it with Lamar. This is a massive clipboard delta. This is a big difference at quarterback. The fact that they got the win actually surprised me, but Chicago, outside of a couple big plays, Chicago looked pretty rough too. Obviously Fields got hurt, ribs. It sounded kind of bad. I jumped to judgment and said he probably won't be ready for Thursday. Who knows? I never know with this stuff. Maybe he will. I don't know if it's a big difference between him and Dalton. And Dalton came in and did Dalton stuff. It's not going to be a big jump up, but he hasn't been horrible. He hasn't thrown really questionable shit at you. He seems happy to be just kind of game manager, which is weird. Why wouldn't you be a little more YOLO if you're Andy Dalton? Doesn't seem to make sense to me. He wants
that backup money for the next 10 years. The angle betting Baltimore coming into this game, independent of what was going on with, but I bet on Baltimore before we even got a first report that Lamar Jackson was sick. But basically the angle was, hey, they are really going to get after Justin Fields, put him under pressure, get the worst out of him. Bears might score no points at all. And they were scoreless until they knocked Fields out of the game, and Andy Dalton walks in and throws a 60-yard pass to Darnell Mooney for a touchdown. And it was literally like, I mean, how do you plan for this? Like, that the angle on both sides of the ball breaks against you. It is what it is. I lose on the Ravens. That sucks. The Ravens ultimately win, so they keep pace in a very competitive AFC North. Congratulations to them. They needed this win, by the way, because the Browns and Bengals also win. And I mean, I mean, their defense. This was a very lucky win for the Ravens. Tyler Huntley was pretty effective on the ground doing a Lamar Jackson impression, but you know where he was not effective? Avoiding the pass rush. Holy crap. We knew that the Ravens offensive line was a little sketch, and Lamar Jackson was kind of glossing over that because of his ability to avoid getting sacked at times. But this offensive line, Tyler Huntley could not do that. He got sacked 6 times. He lost 43 yards on those 6 sacks. Because every time Huntley got sacked, it was like an enormous loss of yards. So it was basically
there were like 8-9 yard sacks every time.
It was drive over.
Never diving forward and like landing 1 yard behind the line and it's a sack. It's an 8-yard backwards falling sack.
Every one of them. Every single one of them. I don't know how the Ravens won, honestly. The last drive that got them this win was a little penalty assisted. But it felt fluky. The 29-yard pass to the Chicago 3 to Sammy Watkins. If that play was there all day, I don't know why they waited until the last drive to go to it. But yeah, the fact that the Bears were missing everyone on defense and that it still took this.
Still got pressure.
It still got pressure and it still took this long. That's a bad sign for the Ravens offense. It's a bad sign for the Ravens offensive line. I don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson and his health status. That's scary. I don't know. They got a tough test next week against the Browns. I'll tell you that much.
It'll be funny when all the dust settles and the Mason Rudolph led Steelers are your AFC North champions.
Doesn't seem crazy.
It's not that crazy. It's turned into a weird race. So New Orleans, Philly. I don't actually want to talk about this game. I want to say if they start Jalen Hurts at the beginning of last year, which obviously is silly to even say, like, do we even have a new coach? He's good. Like, he's good with his legs. He's coming into it. I mean, this is not a bad defense in the, whatever you want to call them, the Saints. We can just call them the Saints because that's their team nickname. But I've kind of been impressed with him, especially with his legs. Not only you can say like I'm impressed with some of his running skills as a running back or as a quarterback, but also like your decision making when to do it. And I think his arm's fine, and they finally might have found a receiver. This is another team. This is right in that San Francisco, Minnesota. Like this team might make the playoffs kind of thing.
You're talking about Philly, right?
Yes.
No, this was a lose town match, I think, in terms of New Orleans loses, they're out now. I don't know how they get back in. Their schedule's too tough. Philly's in. Philly's schedule is easy. They have the easiest schedule from here to the end of the season. They're going to win games, and they are getting better every week. Their defense still sucks, but if their offense is going to score 40 points, based on 3 rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts, man, hope you have him on your fantasy team. Jesus Christ.
He's got to be like fantasy quarterback 2 at this point.
Man, dude, this is fucking wild. So the Saints were an absolute dynamic defense through and through. Elite. No doubt. They gave up 242 yards rushing to this Eagles team tonight. That is not good. And Simeon came back to earth. Obviously, he had the pick 6. He struggled for a lot of the game. He ended up with 3 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. So he got them.
It was the garbage
back
stuff,
into it. So it was all
they scored
garbage
22
time.
in the 4th. Yeah,
all garbage time. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Philly's for real. They're going to lose their first playoff game, but they're probably going to make the playoffs. This is probably your 7th seed.
Yeah, I mean, if Smith keeps getting better and you get anything out of somebody who's not a tight end, like, yeah, Goddard's good, and you have some good running backs who can catch the ball, but like Arcega-Whiteside or Quez Watkins has to step up a little, and then you can end up like, hey, this is a team that can compete with somebody in the playoffs. But it's still a little early, and you end up in the playoffs with essentially a de facto rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach. It's not somebody you're going to want to back.
Hey, do you remember when the Eagles drafted Jalen Reagor ahead of Justin Jefferson?
Eagles fans too. Yeah.
Do you remember that? Jalen Reagor today was targeted 3 times. He had 1 catch for -1.
He's not. I feel like he might be one of those. Go try to find a different team to jumpstart the career elsewhere. Houston, Tennessee,
buddy.
David Culley gets another win. He's just rattling him off at this point. Tennessee just played bad. I don't know, man. It's like everything they did looked bad, and Houston marched down, got a couple field goals to start things out, and you get some turnovers in some dumb spots, and you play in the rain, you play like shit, and it just felt like Tennessee never got off the bus, man.
Houston, by winning this game, moved from number 2 overall pick to number 4.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Good job, guys. Congratulations. Tyrod Taylor was a little frisky. Tennessee sucks. This is your top seed in the AFC still. Unfreaking believable. To this moment, this is your number 1 seed in the AFC. Buffalo is now Buffalo is the 7 seed if the playoffs started right now. Buffalo is the 7 seed. Wow.
Things are getting real squirrely with 6 to 7 weeks left. I have no idea what.
If the playoffs started today, Tennessee still has the 1 seed in the bye. Baltimore as the 2 seed hosts Buffalo as the 7. New England as the 3 seed hosts. Do you want to guess?
They would host the 5 or 6 seed. 6 seed. Bengals,
the 6 seed Bengals. That's right. The 3-6 would be Patriots, Bengals, and then the 4-5 would be Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which is subject to change in like 3 hours. So honestly, I think the Chargers would actually take their spot, or maybe Cincy would bump up. We won't get into all that right now. Colts have a possibility of moving in there as well. So, yeah. Tennessee didn't play well. I don't know. But I'm going to dig deeper into this one. Green Bay Minnesota.
That's some sharp analysis. That's some very sharp analysis.
I didn't really watch much of this. I got to dig into this one.
You were laughing every time you looked at that score, though, right?
I know. I just kept looking. I'm like, are they just turning the ball over a lot? Which the answer was kind of yes there as well. I mean, what was that? What was that turnover ratio?
5-0.
5-0. Yeah. Okay. That's the epitome of not playing well, not getting off the bus and losing to a shitty team. Green Bay, Minnesota.
Tannehill threw 4 picks, and they also lost a fumble.
Very, very entertaining.
Yeah. Let's talk about this one. This is finally a good game. It's taken us a long time to find a good game.
This might be the only one.
You know what? This is the only one.
It is.
This was the only good game today.
This is another box score one. Hey, guess what? Aaron Rodgers throws for 385 and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. How much do the Packers win by? Oh, they
lost by 3.
Kirk Cousins had a great day.
Here's another one. You thought that was a pick at the end. Until they showed the slow motion replay, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So I will put an asterisk on my Kirk Cousins played well today. Kirk Cousins played well because the Green Bay Packers dropped like 3 interceptions.
Dropped 3 picks, yeah.
I mean, Packers lost this game more than the Vikings won it, but the Vikings offense was very good. Everything about Justin Jefferson is special. Adam Thielen certainly chipped in.
Adam Thielen's amazing. Those 2 guys kick ass.
Dalvin Cook was doing, just what he does. He even I think he caught 3 or 4 balls as well. And I'm not sure they did not turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how you win a game like this against a division-leading team.
That's right. We'll talk a little more about the Green Bay Packers Vikings here while I leave this comment up for everyone, because this is really, if you haven't figured out how the season's been, how the script's been written, then I don't know what to tell you. The Vikings, I thought, found a new and amazing way to lose this game in the final 2 minutes. Right? Like that was your takeaway, right? When you see the 73-yard touchdown to Valdez-Scantling, you're like, oh my God.
It's happening.
I can't believe this. And then the next play was that awful interception that got dropped, and you're like, how in the world do you go from a 7-point lead with 2 minutes to play to losing outright? And they figured out a way to do it. Even in the moment when Jefferson scored the touchdown with 2:12 to play, in the back of your head, were you thinking like they might have been better off if he had just taken a knee at the one? You thought that, right?
Not even in the back of my head. I said that out loud.
You're like, they should have just taken this to the 2-minute warning, made Green Bay use their 2 timeouts, taken this down as low as possible, and then either punch it in a touchdown or kick the field goal. Like, don't screw around with whatever is coming next. Like, you don't want to put this defense back out on the field. But they did put the defense back out on the field. To their credit, they blew it so quickly that it gave Minnesota just enough time to drive again. If were it not for the dropped interception, they lose this game. I think you play this one 100 times, 50-50. The margin separating these two teams is nil. It was literally just bounces of the ball, luck, penalties, interception, dropped interceptions versus interception. That was really all there is to separating these two teams. This game should have been a pick 'em. It closed the pick 'em. If you got value on Minnesota on the money line, good for you. You get a winning bet out of all of that. Good for you. The over was a solid look here. Felt a little
heavy understeam. It got
that
bet
I did
down.
Not get.
It got bet down. I guess I understood a little because Green Bay had been such an under team, and even in the Seattle game, they really didn't move the ball a ton at times, and their defense had been playing so well. But yeah, I just kind of ended up staying away from this altogether. I leaned over, and the market disagreed. So I said, well, I don't know if I want to be the buyback here when this is an ugly game again for Green Bay. And Minnesota's offense is not a team that plays in ugly, low-scoring games right now.
Patrick and Cam, what am I missing in Pistons Lakers aside from the Lakers sucking?
We had some malice in the palace again, I guess.
Oh, did we? Oh, that's fun.
Just a little bit. We'll figure it out here.
Lakers losing to the Pistons is really something.
That was my play in the NBA chat this morning.
I remember you played that.
LeBron got ejected.
Oh, did he? Ooh, nice.
That's what Dan is saying here. So, all right, Cincinnati. This was the secret team total play over 24.5. Easy.
Did it make it?
Yes, it did.
Barely.
Good job.
Barely.
It counts the same. I didn't catch much. I don't have much to say on this. I didn't catch up completely on this game yet. I know
absolutely stupidest. Such a stupid game.
Yeah, like Burrow didn't. I looked at Burrow's numbers in the third quarter. I'm like, well, he's not doing much. Are they getting a bunch of turnovers? It looks like Vegas did lose a fumble, but it looks like the turnover was only like 2-1. Cincinnati won it, so I'm not sure if we had some special team shenanigans or just the Raiders weren't doing it in the red zone. I don't have a ton to say on this one yet. It looks like, the Bengals were 2 for 2 in the red zone. The Raiders were 1 for 3. The Bengals only had one penalty accepted for 5 yards. The Bengals had 7 for 77. The Bengals held the ball for a very good portion of the game, had a much worse yards per play.
Well,
4.1 compared to 5.9. And
the Bengals made offense look so hard. They made it the Raiders so hard, and they still got 32 points. A ton of that assisted by some late breaks. Late stuff broke their direction. They got an interception that set them up for a late touchdown. They got a fumble that set them up for a late field goal. Otherwise, we are crying into our drinks at 22-13 instead of 32-13.
Into our chili.
It was a weird game. The Raiders look like a team that has had a lot break against them this season and may not win another game. How many weeks ago was it that I said I won't be shocked if the Raiders finish the season 5-12?
Well, you said 5-11, I think, because we still are stuck with that. And then, no, you quickly corrected yourself. But I mean, it was a couple weeks ago for sure. So I'm with you there. We'll dig more into this on Tuesday. Ooh, real quick announcement for anyone who's listening, because of traveling and whatnot in the holiday. Deep Dive is a Tuesday episode this week.
Oh yeah,
so you're gonna get us a little early.
We'll talk some Turkey Day games.
I gotta do a little. Yeah, I gotta get ready extra soon. The last two that just happened. Colt McCoy, obviously making Mr. Russell Wilson regret like an asshole holding a grenade with nowhere to throw it, regretting that he pulled the pin that early. Not looking good for Seattle. I think their season is pretty much over. I mean, just like with the NFC standings, they're like 14th or they're 15th. Seattle is only ahead of the Lions right now in the standings for the playoffs. The Bears are technically ahead of them. The Giants are ahead of them.
Well, you know what's good? You know what's good news for them?
Losing.
That means they're going to get a really high draft pick. Oh, wait. They traded to the Jets for Jamal Adams. Oops.
Game changer Jamal Adams. If you're listening to this in podcast form, we're making a cringe face.
Seattle would have the 7th overall pick, which means the Jets would have the 2nd and the 7th if the draft were today.
Ooh, Salah with a war chest. This is another one I didn't watch much of. We'll get more into these teams on Wednesday, but just taking a look at the box score, Wilson got sacked a lot like Wilson does. They barely had a running game despite being a team that likes to run. At least Lockett did good. I got him on one fantasy team, I know. And then I don't even think Russell didn't turn it over. Did they lose any? I'm not sure there was a turnover in this whole game. This was just a nice, clean game. There were 5 total penalties, no turnovers. And Seattle really just didn't get it moving. Honestly, on looking at their yards per play, looking at their drives, Seattle is just really, really, really shitty on third down, and doesn't look like they did much anything on offense. I have to go back and watch most of this.
So
I'm not going to enjoy doing that.
I mean, the real question is, Seattle closed this to 16-13. You're facing Colt McCoy. At that point, it is imperative you give your guy, Russell Wilson, one more shot with a 1-score differential. And instead, they allowed a 10-play, 67-yard drive for the Cardinals that ate 4 minutes and 45 seconds. This was basically the game.
Yeah.
Just looking at this drive, this was pretty horrific stuff. Honestly, Colt McCoy scrambling, Colt McCoy short passes that were going for 7, 12, 20 yards, short passes. This was bad tackling. This was bad defense. The fact that you let Colt McCoy pick you apart and that ultimately James Conner puts you with the 1-yard touchdown. Not good. Third and goal. Colt McCoy pass incomplete, short middle to Zach Ertz. Penalty on Jamal Adams. Defensive pass interference that set them up for the go-ahead touchdown. Game over, basically.
Colt McCoy had 328 yards. If you're going to let a backup do that, maybe it's time to pack it in. Pack it in for the season. And then the game that I was excited about didn't really live up to the hype. I did watch a bunch of this. We got a bunch of McCarthy ball. I'm guessing if I go look at these third down stats for Dallas, I'm going to be pretty upset with those as well. And it's not like Kansas City did much, but they didn't have to. Neither team really impressed on offense. Both Dallas was 4.3 yards per play. Jesus H. Christ. You lost receiver to injury.
Andy. They were up against the mighty Kansas City Chiefs defense. Let's cut them a little slack here.
5 for 15 on third down.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But Kansas City had the same percentage, 4 for 12. They were all 33% on fourth downs.
Oh, yeah. No, Kansas City did not cover themselves in glory, but they were playing from ahead. So that's kind of, they do play. They play sloppy from ahead at times. We've seen this. We've seen that from them before. This was not first time I've seen that. They cover. They win by 10, I guess. The decision to kick a field goal.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure
Kansas
which
City
one.
with field goals.
I'm trying to figure out which one bothered me the most, and I'm struggling to really tell you. I think it was the last one, right?
Yeah, the last one was longer, I guess, but no,
that was 4th and 19.
Yeah, the
which
two
was
first
the one
ones,
which was the 4th and 5. 4th and 5 at the 12. That one,
yeah,
was
the
30-yarders
were bothering me quite a bit. So
yeah,
I was excited, and I guess I'm glad we don't have Tony Book because I was all excited to maybe do a fun little, hey, let's see if we get it 80 points and hit a big alt prop total. That was never coming close. The alt unders hitting this one. This got to 28. Didn't reach half of the total. So on to tonight then, or on to week 12.
I guess. What did you make of Dallas? Looked like they invited the run in this one, and Kansas City gave it to them.
Yeah, they especially the last
early,
really.
At least.
I mean, well, and even that last drive where they needed to get the ball back.
Right.
To try to, down 10, you're still in dire straits, but you need to get the ball back. And a guy who's been bad so far in the league, really, and almost, I thought, might have just lost his job through injury. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was knocking off like 8 to 10 yards of carry on you when you needed it. So,
yeah. Patrick Mahomes was not crisp in this one. He had a pick. He had a fumble.
Didn't throw for a touchdown.
Did not throw for a touchdown. Not great for his MVP candidacy. But at least he won, I guess.
Yeah, it's better.
I don't know who the MVP is today. I mean, I guess it's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady.
The touchdown?
By not doing anything. Well, he'll play tomorrow.
Loses to the Giants tomorrow, that's going to really just be bedlam in the MVP market.
We'll give it to Daniel Jones then. All right, quick look at tonight before we get into some future lines for Week 12.
What did Noops have? What did Noops have for a touchdown score?
Noops has some first touchdown scores. He was kind enough to pass along.
Who did he bet?
Claypool.
Oh, I don't like these.
Claypool was
I'm just kidding. I like
ruled
these.
out by Shefty, and then the tweet was quickly deleted. He is in. I was almost running with Claypool out and with TJ Watt and Hayden out. I'm like, God, should I just go be the guy who bets the Sunday night game at the last minute? I still might take some Chargers, but Claypool, Freiermuth, who he likes him a tight end, Donald Parham, Eric Ebron.
Parham is slick, man. I don't know if you've seen that guy get dressed for the games, but he has some absolute threads. That guy is styling.
And Justin Herbert.
Running one in. Okay.
Running one in, yes.
Herbert.
So.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
yeah, let us know what you got in the chat.
I got absolutely absurd closing line value on my Chargers play, so I'm sure that will lose.
What was the number you got?
Let me look it up. I think 4. I think I laid 4.
Yeah. I wanted to say it was 4.5 early in the week. So we are sitting at 6.5 juicy, maybe even some 7s in the market. Tomorrow, Monday nights.
4.5 I got.
Monday nights and 11. I'm fine with that number. I have no interest in that game. But we do have more weekday games. We have Thursday football.
Thursday. Turkey Day.
We have the Bears and maybe Justin Fields, a 3.5 point favorite over Tim Boyle.
Andy.
It sounds like it's going to be Tim Boyle, man.
Kevin, TJ Watt is out.
TJ Watt out, yes.
Although from the stat sheet didn't really help Myles Garrett much today. He might as
no
well have
sacks.
been fucking out.
The Browns got no sacks today.
How you don't get a single sack on Tim Boyle behind that offensive line? Perplexing.
Tim Boyle's a slippery son of a bitch. So, all right, Bears are 3.5.
Yeah, I think you got to consider laying the chalk.
I am going to wait a little bit on some injury news, but I'm tempted. Tim Boyle is pretty bad. And
is he?
Man, Nagy's pretty bad.
Tim Boyle covered today when he went under 100 yards passing and 0 touchdowns.
I know it's the Browns.
I don't know if you heard that.
I guess the Bears are just the Browns West. So yeah, probably not interested in this game. If anything, 42.5 might not be low enough. Especially if the Bears get a couple pieces back on defense. The Lions defense.
Who are they getting back on defense? Do you think Akeem Hicks and Eddie Jackson?
I think Hicks might. I'm not sure on Jackson. This is where I'm gonna probably have to do a little research. Do a little independent research on my own on this one to see if we're getting some pieces back for Detroit, or Chicago. Maybe an underlook here early. Is this the early game?
Dan's talking about Judon DPOY. That was 40-1 this week. You know how I know?
That's not going to be a thing.
You know how I know? It's because I put it in my queue and then I didn't put submit. 40-1 Judon. If you still have 40-1 Judon, you should bet it.
Raiders, Cowboys. The Cowboys. We'll see what. Wait.
These are
still tough.
Going back in time, did you bet the Bears?
No.
Because it's a bad game.
I'd like
or
to
because you don't think there's a value on that.
I'm close on that number, but again, I need to see some injury stuff.
I'm okay laying 3 if I can get a flat 3, which is what it is at WinBet.
Yeah, there's a 3.5 out there as well. If you can get a 3, maybe, but I make this about 4. But it's also the Bears. This is if the Lions ever wanted to get a rah-rah game, let's finally get a win for the year. This might be it. Do it against a division rival who's struggling. Raiders, Cowboys, that's another one. Like, are we going to find out about the concussion for our guy there, Mr. Lamb?
Would be shocked if he came back just looking at
I kind of would
injury.
Too.
Was a pretty serious injury.
Short week. It's hard to get cleared if you're ruled out for concussion.
Mm-hmm.
All these games, like the Saints, we have injury stuff. We still don't know on like exactly where we sit with everything there. God, all these Thursday games stink for that. Like I'm not going to bet into these early. What do you make?
I might go on
what do you
vacation.
make Bills Saints?
Fuck the NFL this week.
I think you actually are. So I'm pretty close to all these numbers. Not interested.
I would be shocked if Lamb is back. I think, and honestly, this is a good opportunity to put Zeke on the shelf for a week as well. Could make this the Tony Pollard game, please.
Honestly, I like all 3 unders on Thursday. I'm not firing yet, but I'd want that Cowboys Raiders a little closer to 49, and then
under
Bills Saints. I think you get a better.
So why are you betting
Saints.
Under on the Raiders Cowboys? Is that under because the Raiders offense has quit?
It kind of has. Short week to prep. Dallas Cowboys defense isn't horrid, and I just have this closer to 49 right now. I'm going to dig into that.
Can you remind me how do untested coaches tend to do on Thursday Night Football?
Kind of bad.
I mean, we just had one, right?
Are we considering?
How was Art Smith on Thursday?
Are we going to consider McCarthy untested though?
No, I'm talking about.
I know. They kind of have quit. So out of the 3. I'd be maybe least excited betting it under in a Raiders-Cowboys game, but I still have that under. And then the Saints defense is better than what we saw. They'll be at home. The Bills, again, the defense is not that bad. The Saints aren't going to be able to run with the Jonathan Taylor, especially if Kamara's out. That's another underlook. I'm not betting any of these yet. Sunday, there's not a ton popping out again for me here. What do we have? Patriots. Anybody who grabbed the Patriots at 3 early, congrats to you. That's out to 5.5, 6 at places. That's an over-adjustment is what that is.
Wow.
Tennessee there. God damn it.
What does that mean that Tennessee is better? I mean, New England's better than Tennessee on a neutral. Holy shit.
I still haven't upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be betting the Titans there.
But are you going to? You're going to step in front of destiny?
I do it all the time. I'm not scared. It's only money. I have a job. I can make more. Texans, Jets, that total is a little low.
Texans, Jets, do you have an opinion on that total?
No. Texans, Jets, I have no opinion. That game shouldn't be played. I'm boycotting. I'm actually writing Roger, telling him that game shouldn't be played. If we're going to get Tyrod versus Flacco again, are we doing Flacco again on the road?
Zach Wilson may be back for this. That's not a tough pass rush, so I don't think you're worried about it. You probably throw Wilson back in there.
It's probably an under, but once you bet too many unders, you start feeling like you might have a bad Sunday. Eagles facing the Giants will probably skip that one because the Giants have not played yet this week, but the Eagles right now are listed as 3.5-point favorites. If you think the Giants get trucked tomorrow,
hey, why does this slate of games absolutely suck, man? Why do all these games suck?
The regular season needs to be over.
Dude, the product on the NFL went downhill fast. What happened?
Oh, a little bit of parody, and all of a sudden we're saying it's bad. I still like watching bad football.
Did you watch Chiefs Dallas today?
A little bit.
What was your most? Andy, what was the most enjoyable moment of football?
I'm not even answering that. I'm just moving on. Tampa Bay 2.5 over the Colts. The Colts are that much better. I just like watching football. It can be bad football. It's fine. This lookahead was 3.5. Tampa Bay hasn't played yet this week. Do you think the Colts are getting a little too much respect there, and Tampa Bay possibly does a truck stick tomorrow, and this is back at 3.5 where it was most of the week?
If I had to boil it down to its most simple terms, Jonathan Taylor is not going to look good up against the Tampa Bay rush defense.
No.
So this is on Wentz against a secondary that he could beat. He could. I'm inclined to bet Tampa here, and I am inclined to wait because I don't know that we're not going to get a full-size stake on 2.5 after Monday Night Football. I don't have a great feeling that Tampa's just going to truck stick New York tomorrow. What do you think?
I kind of hope they don't, because I want to bet the spot, and I want to get it short of 3, or at least a cheap 3.
I do too.
And really, the quarterback who has been bound and determined to throw interceptions that get dropped versus the secondary who has made their mark by catching interceptions that maybe shouldn't be caught. Like all the interceptions in the playoff run last year. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm fine taking some Tampa here. I probably will wait as well, though. But that's on the watch list.
Okay. Watch list.
I don't know. Watch list it. All right, Falcons, 1-point favorite over the Jaguars on the road. As our friends Lockie and Nick would say, I'm going to put that one in pencil. Yep. Yeah. Not blood.
No.
Falcons, Jags with a total of 48.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that game's going to happen.
that game's going to get played.
It's wild. Like I'm very on market with that. I make it very.
Are you?
Very close to that right now.
I'm lower than that, but I have no confidence in Jacksonville's defense isn't going to just completely lay down and get their back scratched.
Scratch. That's a new one.
Yeah, like a dog. They're just going to lay down like dogs and just get their back scratched.
They get their tummy scratched.
Roll over on their backs and get their tummy scratched. Yeah.
I have a back scratcher.
There you go.
All right. Carolina, Miami. Is that a
Tropical
thing?
itch.
Pick 'em. You said prior to this you were ready to back Miami. Very low total in this one.
Yeah.
What gives you confidence? You talked about how Cam throws. And again, I think it's because he's left-handed and it looks unnatural to me. But Tua's throwing motion is gross as well. They have the defense and the skill players to win a game against a team that's not the Jets. I mean, sell me this pencil. It's on the watch list.
You remember last year, the Miami Dolphins defense was defined by what? Creating turnovers.
Yeah, I mean they got a bunch of interceptions and they did get some pass rush yet.
Does Cam Newton strike you as the type of player that's going to play a clean 60 minutes against this Miami defense?
I feel like what they're going to ask him to do, though, like they didn't ask him to go deep. Like if he's able to hit that short shit, he's fine. He looked fine doing that. If they don't make him go 20 yards down the field, I think they're going to continue to play it safe.
You don't think that the Miami defense is going to be cheating on the short stuff?
I think
they're going to cheat.
They still have CMC. Like, yeah, but good luck stopping him. The way this defense has played this year, good luck. Just be like, oh, guess
yeah, but we'll out of pick them, I just want one advantage turnover.
Yeah, I have no interest in this.
Not worried about it.
Pitt, Cincy will skip because Pitt plays in 3 minutes. Same with Chargers. Chargers, they short favorite in Denver. They're also playing in a few minutes. What do you make of this? The Niners and the Frisco, I'm going to call them Frisco Niners, and the Vikings. Niners are a 2.5 trending towards 3-point favorite. I think Minnesota has a better offense. I think this total might be low.
This much they have a better offense. Much better offense.
Are we just betting the Vikings every week until they start making them a favorite?
That's right.
Yeah, put it on the board. The money line's Vikings. Not up. We'll take a small position on plus 2.5 right now.
Vikes. Yeah.
I have Minnesota
in a parallel universe. The Vikings are your 1 seed in the NFC right now. I'm not kidding.
They could have beat the Cardinals.
Should have beat the Cardinals. The Bengals
should have lost the Lions.
They could have lost the Lions. Yeah, they should have lost the Lions. That should be their only loss this year, though, right?
Pretty much. Goofy team. I like this over a little too. Green Bay and the Rams. Rams coming off the bye. Green Bay coming off a nasty loss. And I saw some people complaining about the refereeing in that game, saying it was favored towards Minnesota. Like legitimately, Aaron Rodgers called a timeout, threw a touchdown, and they still let him have the play. I thought it was pretty fair. I mean, the refs are gonna suck. I mean, but I thought they sucked both ways. So
if you haven't already figured this out, NFL refereeing is incompetence on like on film. It's the textbook definition of incompetence. This is what is there's a famous razor.
Occam's?
Hanlon's razor.
Oh.
You know Hanlon's razor?
I know Zeno's arrow.
You've never heard of Hanlon's razor?
Green Bay is a 2-point favorite at home with the Rams coming down. I'm just skipping over. I don't know what you're doing. I just moved on.
You don't know Hanlon's razor.
I'm not sure if I do know Hanlon's razor.
Hanlon's razor is.
Are we going to wait?
Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by incompetence.
Yeah.
Yes. The refs were not trying to win the game for Minnesota or Green Bay. They're just boobs.
They're just boobs. I like that.
Yeah.
Where do you stack these two teams up, though? In Green Bay, the Rams coming off a bye, going to play. It'll be kind of shitty up there. It's been cold, man. This might be a bad weather game. This total is 50. Green Bay's defense has played good in a lot of games. You take out this Minnesota game. Boy, I almost want to bet Green Bay here, and I probably won't.
I'm oppo you on that.
You're just going to take
I want some Rams here. Yeah, I want some Rams here.
You have it.
I want some Rams here.
What are Rams?
The cold weather scenario is a little dicey, but you know who has played in Green Bay a handful of times in his career?
Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford. Same person.
That's the one.
I still like this under. I like this under a little. And I'm betting I'm betting the Ravens. I'm betting the Ravens -4.
Who are they playing again? The Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
What's the angle there?
They are more than 4 points better with Lamar coming back from whatever diarrhea he had this week. If Landry's knee is banged and a few other things hash out right injury-wise, this closes higher than 4. And then Femi brings up a good point. The Packers did, I think, lost another offensive lineman.
They did.
At least had an injury.
Yeah.
So
left tackle.
That's a bad thing to have when you have a couple decent pass rushers coming in healthy, rested, and ready to go. Maybe don't cut the grass this week, guys.
Rams. Ram-a-lam-a ding-dong. Yeah. Rams bounce back. They finally get on the W.
Cool. All right.
Well,
the game's starting.
Let's go watch some football.
Yeah.
Is this going to be any good? Anything good going to happen in this game?
Yeah. Probably not. So.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Elgton Jenkins looked like a bad injury. We'll close with that. We'll touch base Tuesday night. It's my back scratcher. And we'll see you tonight at halftime.
All right, man. Go Bolts. I am unbiased. I just want the Bolts to win and cover. Is that us?